there, future millionaires! Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you again. I'm really hoping you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you're tuning in from around this incredible world of ours. Alright, let's dive right into what's happening with XRP today. I've got the one-day chart pulled up here, and we're looking at XRP sitting at $2.35 right now. Now, if you've been watching the markets today, you probably noticed that XRP took another hit along with pretty much everything else in the crypto space. Actually, this ties perfectly into what I was talking about in yesterday's video. So in that video, I was breaking down this W pattern that was forming right here on the chart. And you know what? That's exactly what a lot of the bears were predicting would happen. They were calling for this setup, and honestly, they weren't wrong. But then, boom! We got hit with some major news about new sanctions on Russia. I'm definitely going to dive deeper into that in just a minute, because it's pretty significant. And if that wasn't enough drama for one day, we're now hearing rumors that the big meeting with China might actually be called off completely. So you can imagine how all of this is playing out in the markets right now. And just like that, the market started crashing back down again. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you here. This market is absolutely impossible to predict right now. And I mean impossible. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can call what's going to happen next. Here's what keeps happening. Just when everything starts looking really strong, just when we're all thinking, okay, this is finally our moment, and everyone's getting hyped up and excited, bam! Something comes out of nowhere and sends everything tumbling back down again. It's like the market is playing tricks on us, and frankly, it's driving everyone a little crazy. And here's the thing, it's not just XRP getting hammered. Bitcoin's back down below 108,000 too. I've got to tell you, watching this whole thing unfold is absolutely frustrating because it feels like we're just postponing what we all know is coming anyway. I mean, come on, we know XRP is going to go parabolic eventually. We know Bitcoin hasn't hit its peak yet. That massive run is definitely on the horizon. But here's the catch. To actually see those gains, people have to white-knuckle it through these roller coaster moments over and over again. And let me tell you, that's easier said than done. You know what's really wild? In past cycles, traders could look at the charts and confidently say, all right, XRP's about to explode, or Bitcoin's ready for liftoff. But this cycle? Forget about it. Everyone's just scratching their heads because literally no one can predict what's coming next. It's like the playbook got thrown out the window. And get this! This is all coming from a parody account. Can you believe that? So we're getting whiplash from tweets like, I will meet with Z, then, actually no I won't meet with Z, then, wait, yes I will meet with Z. And every single time one of these tweets drops, the entire market goes absolutely bonkers reacting to it. Look, I'll admit it's pretty hilarious when you step back and think about it. But it's a lot less funny when you're staring at your portfolio turning red, right? We've all been there, watching these wild swings happen and feeling that pit in your stomach as the frustration just builds and builds. But here's what I need you to remember. Don't let this craziness break you. You've got this. You can absolutely push through this chaotic period. And here's why it matters. When they finally stop playing games and let this market do what it's meant to do, when it finally takes off like a rocket, you're going to want to be right here with your bags packed and ready to go. Trust me, you don't want to miss that ride. You know what? I'm 100% with you on this one. This cycle has been absolutely brutal to figure out. I mean, we're dealing with political games left and right, insider trading moves happening behind the scenes, and don't even get me started on all the global conflicts throwing everything into chaos. If you're not tapped into the right sources and staying on top of all this information, you're basically trading with a blindfold on, and that's a recipe for disaster. That's exactly why I've completely changed my approach with XRP. I don't even bother trying to trade it anymore. You know what I do instead? I buy it, transfer it straight to my cold wallet, and then I just wait. That's it. I'm playing the long game here, just sitting tight and waiting for that inevitable market breakout. And trust me, it is going to happen. The math is there, the fundamentals are solid, everything's lining up. The million-dollar question? Well, nobody has a crystal ball for the timing. But when it does pop off, we're going to be ready. Now here's something that could be a real game changer. Once the government gets back up and running, I think we could see some seriously good things happen for crypto. Why? Because that means they'll actually start getting stuff done around cryptocurrency regulation and policy. We've all been sitting here waiting forever for Washington to make some moves, right? There's been so much anticipation building up around what's going to happen next. And speaking of moves, Trump just dropped those long-awaited sanctions that everyone's been talking about. So here's what just went down. Trump just unleashed some massive new sanctions on Putin's Russia. We're talking about sweeping measures that are directly targeting Russia's energy sector, hitting the big players like Rosneft and Lukoil hard. OFAC basically froze every single US-linked asset these companies have and completely banned American businesses from doing any deals with them whatsoever. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Every time we see sanctions like this get slapped on Russia, people always scratch their heads and wonder, why is Russia so desperate to find alternatives to SWIFT? Why are they trying so hard to get away from the US dollar? Well, this is exactly why. This is the whole reason BRICS countries are working overtime to build their own payment system. They want to completely cut ties with the US dollar and create their own financial ecosystem. But here's where my brain starts lighting up. Every time I see sanctions like this, all I can think about is how bullish this is for XRP's future price. Think about it. Within the BRICS network, XRP could be the perfect solution. It acts like a trust layer between countries, works as a bridge currency, and honestly, it's like it was designed specifically for what the BRICS countries are trying to accomplish. This could be huge for XRP. All right, so I came across this post from XRP, and he's asking a really powerful question. Tell me what's bearish in this chart. And you know what? He's absolutely right. Here's what's driving me crazy. 99% of these so-called technical analysis experts are screaming, "Bear market!" at the top of their lungs. But when you actually look at the chart, there isn't a single confirmed bearish signal. Not one. I think I know exactly why all these TA guys are calling for doom and gloom. They're completely lost. They have no idea how to read this market because honestly, we've never seen anything like this before. This is uncharted territory. You know what's funny? 2 years ago, back during that brutal bear market of 2022 and 2023, I kept telling you guys, hey, you need to watch real-world events. And what did people say? You're absolutely nuts. Crypto lives in its own bubble. It's totally separate from everything happening in the real world. But guess what? I proved them wrong over and over again. Every time something major happened globally, boom, it hit the crypto space too. The connection is undeniable. These analysts keep pulling up old patterns from previous cycles and spinning these wild theories out of thin air. But here's the million-dollar question. Where's the actual structural breakdown? Spoiler alert, there isn't one. When you look at the chart objectively, it's still showing strength, solid structure, and incredible bullish resilience. So before everyone starts panicking and screaming, bear market, maybe, just maybe, we should actually check the real data instead of getting caught up in fear and making decisions based on anticipation rather than actual confirmation. The charts don't lie, people. Man, I absolutely loved that post because it hits the nail on the head about what's really happening right now. You've got all these chart analysts out there telling everyone, pack it up, folks. We're in a bear market now. The 4-year cycle is done and dusted. But then, and here's the kicker, when you actually pull up XRP's chart and really look at it, it's absolutely stunning. I'm not even exaggerating here. XRP has one of the most beautiful, bullish charts in the entire crypto space right now. It's like a work of art. When I look at this thing, I can practically feel that explosive breakout building up underneath the surface. And trust me, when that blast-off finally happens, and it will happen, you're going to want to have your front row seat ready. This is not the kind of show you want to watch from the sidelines. The setup is just too perfect to ignore. Look, the amount of pain and frustration we've experienced in crypto this year has been absolutely insane. But hold on. Let me put this into perspective for you. This year's volatility, it's nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to the torture chamber that was 2022. Do you remember those brutal days? XRP would literally move half a cent over 3 straight days, and we'd all be staring at our screens like zombies. Then suddenly it would jump up 2 cents, and everyone would lose their minds with excitement, only to watch it crash right back down again. It was soul-crushing. At least right now we're still sitting above $2. That's something to celebrate, right? But here's the hard truth about this market that nobody wants to talk about. It doesn't give prizes to the smartest people in the room. Nope. It rewards the people who can take a beating and keep standing. It's like a financial survival game. Success in crypto really comes down to one thing. How much pain can you absorb without throwing in the towel? That's it. That's the whole game. You've got to be tough enough to hold through those blood-red days when everything's tanking. You need the mental strength to watch your portfolio skyrocket one day, then get absolutely demolished the next. And somehow, you've got to find a way to sleep at night through all of that chaos. But here's what I want you to remember. Once you truly understand that all this craziness, all this emotional roller coaster is just part of the journey to financial freedom, something magical happens. One day you're going to look back at all this stress and pain, and you'll realize it was the best investment you ever made. The question is, do you have what it takes to stick around for that moment?
All right, I just saw this incredible post from EZA that every crypto investor needs to read. This stuff is eye-opening. We're talking about fake partnerships everywhere. Founders literally dumping their tokens on everyday investors like you and me. And don't even get me started on these paid influencers who are getting rich promoting garbage tokens. It's absolutely wild out there. Here's the thing. The more you educate yourself about what's really happening behind the scenes with most crypto projects, the better your investment decisions are going to be. It's that simple. But here's what breaks my heart. Too many newcomers jump into crypto thinking every project is going to deliver on their promises. They believe all the hype, all the marketing, all the flashy websites, and honestly, I get it. These projects look amazing on the surface. But let me hit you with some harsh reality. 99% of crypto founders are just here to make a quick fortune and disappear. That's it. I even heard about one founder who allegedly got sued by his own family members because he took loans from them to start his project, then acted like he had no idea what they were talking about when the project took off. Can you believe that? The truth is, there are way too many cryptocurrencies flooding the market right now. Most of them look rock solid, they generate massive hype, people pour their life savings into them, and then bam! They either turn into complete rug pulls or they promise all this amazing utility that never actually materializes. This is exactly why I'm telling you. When real regulations finally hit the crypto space, we're going to witness 99% of these projects vanish into thin air. And when that day comes, a lot of people are going to lose everything they invested. You're going to watch meme coins disappear overnight like they never existed. Even projects that everyone thought were the next big thing are going to get wiped out in a single day. It's going to be brutal, but it's also going to be necessary. And all of this madness is going to end once we finally tame the Wild West that crypto has become. I just saw this brilliant post from Black Swan Capitalist, and it's so on point it's almost funny. Hukuk. They're pointing out how absolutely ridiculous it is that all these Bitcoin pump stories are absolutely everywhere on social media right now, when we're actually way closer to the end of this cycle than the beginning. Think about this for a second. Where were all these so-called experts and financial journalists when Bitcoin was sitting at 15,000 to 20,000? They were nowhere to be found. Radio silence. But now that we're up here in the stratosphere, suddenly everyone's a Bitcoin genius? Are people really this bad at reading the room? I mean, come on. Here's what's happening right now that should have your alarm bells ringing. Bitcoin is plastered all over mainstream media, and they're pushing this narrative that the traditional 4-year cycle is dead and gone. They want you to believe that Bitcoin is just going to keep climbing to the moon forever and ever. Sound familiar? This is classic top-of-the-market behavior, folks. When your grandmother's financial advisor is telling her to buy Bitcoin, when it's the lead story on every news channel, that's usually not when you want to be FOMOing in. The smart money was buying when nobody was talking about it. Now that everyone's screaming about it, well, that tells you everything you need to know about where we really are in this cycle. But wait, Dark Defender just dropped some incredible insight that puts everything into perspective. He's breaking down the 2025 to 2026 bull run for us, and this is really important stuff. Here's what he's pointing out. We're actually experiencing a bull run right now, and the key indicator to watch is Bitcoin dominance. Every time Bitcoin dominance takes a nosedive, that's when the real magic happens for altcoins. We saw this exact same pattern play out in 2017 and again in 2021. And guess what? It's happening right now. I know. There's fear everywhere you look. Social media is doom and gloom. People are panicking, and it feels like the sky is falling. But here's what Dark Defender is telling us to do. Take a deep breath, step back from all the noise, and actually look at the cold, hard data. The numbers don't lie, and when you see what he's about to show us, it's going to completely change how you view this market cycle. Sometimes you've got to ignore the emotions and trust the data. And the data is telling a very different story than what everyone's feeling right now. So buckle up and enjoy the show, because this is where it gets really interesting. Take a look at Bitcoin dominance right now. This is the current picture. But here's what you need to understand. The moment this thing starts crashing down, we're officially entering alt season. And trust me, it's absolutely coming. The cycle is still intact. It's just being delayed right now. This isn't fundamentally different from any other cycle we've seen before, except these delays feel like they're taking an eternity. I swear, it's like watching paint dry sometimes. Now, some people would totally disagree with me here. They'd argue there's actually no delay at all in this cycle, that everything is just playing out exactly the way it was always meant to happen, right on schedule. Honestly, I don't know who's right about the timing. All I know for sure is this. Once Bitcoin dominance finally takes that dive, you better strap yourself in, because XRP is going to take us on one absolutely wild ride. But speaking of wild, did you guys catch what Tucker Carlson just said? He's out there claiming he believes the CIA actually created Bitcoin. Now that's a bombshell if I've ever heard one. Personally, I think it was actually the NSA, along with David Schwartz and 3 other brilliant minds who were behind Bitcoin's creation. But here's what's really got me curious. Why is Tucker dropping this theory right now? What's the timing all about? Are we about to witness a massive shift in how mainstream media talks about crypto? Maybe Tucker's just testing the waters, being the first major voice to put this idea out there. I'm really curious to see what happens next. Will other big names start jumping on this bandwagon over the next few days? Are we about to see a complete narrative change about Bitcoin's origins hitting the mainstream? This could get really interesting, really fast. Keep your eyes peeled, because if this gains momentum, it's going to shake up a lot of people's understanding about what Bitcoin really is and where it came from. And here we go again. Another unregulated $1 billion just got pumped into the system. You know what? One day we're all going to look back at this moment and smack ourselves on the forehead saying, how did we not see this train wreck coming? The writing is literally on the wall, people. It was only a matter of time before this happened again, and sure enough, Tether just minted another billion USDT out of thin air. Just like that, poof, $1 billion magically appears. I've been saying this over and over again, and I'm going to keep saying it until people listen. This madness cannot continue forever. This whole system is completely unsustainable, and we're all just sitting here watching it happen in real time. Here's what really keeps me up at night. When Tether finally comes crashing down, and trust me, it will, it's going to drag Bitcoin down with it. We're talking about a financial nuclear bomb that's just sitting there, ticking away. The fuse is already lit, folks. The only question is, when does it finally explode? And when it does, it's going to be absolutely devastating for everyone who didn't see it coming. Don't say I didn't warn you. Speakers have been added to the lineup. And can we talk about Ripple Swell for a second? This year's event is looking absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, seriously incredible. I cannot believe anybody can sit there and say, I'm so bearish on XRP to that. When you look at the names here, I mean, just look at this lineup. You've got BlackRock there, NASDAQ. There's many names on this list, and they're still adding more people to this list as well. Franklin Templeton, Canary Capital. I mean, the list just keeps going. When you see heavyweight names like this all showing up, it's absolutely incredible. Just take a step back and look at this whole picture for a moment. You've got all these massive financial institutions coming together, and it's crystal clear. XRP is definitely the future. There's no question about it. You know we're still going to see big things come from Ripple this year and next year as well. But here's what drives me absolutely crazy. People will always, and I mean always, wait until XRP finally breaks out and starts going parabolic before they decide they absolutely have to have it. Why on earth would you not be stacking XRP right now while it's still at these ridiculously cheap prices? It's like watching a massive sale at your favorite store and walking away empty-handed, only to come back later when everything's full price and complain about how expensive it is. This is literally the opportunity of a lifetime sitting right in front of us. I don't get it. Can XRP price hit $3 amid renewed interest of Ripple whales? So check this out. It looks like the whales just scooped up another 30 million XRP coins recently, and now everyone's sitting here wondering, can XRP even get back above $3? You know what this is? It's classic market psychology. They want to keep you completely confused and uncertain about where XRP is headed next. They're playing mind games with all of us. But let me tell you something. I am absolutely 100% certain about where XRP is going. This thing is going to have a massive, explosive breakout that's going to blow everyone's minds. Here's the thing. Everybody who's been in this space long enough knows it's coming. We can all feel it building up. But they want to create all this fear and uncertainty, especially for the newer investors who just jumped into XRP. They want those new people questioning everything. Is XRP really going to go back up? Did I make a mistake? Don't fall for it. The breakout is definitely coming. The whales are accumulating for a reason, and it's not because they think XRP is going to tank. They know exactly what's about to happen, and so do we. Stay strong and trust the process.
And they always throw out those articles. When XRP is in the red, if it's a red day, you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to see all kinds of negative FUD articles about XRP flooding the internet. It's like clockwork. And even when you're watching XRP in this descending triangle pattern, slowly grinding downward, you know what? You know exactly what comes after patterns like this. History shows us that these setups usually lead to absolutely massive moves upward. Let's see if XRP follows the same playbook here. But listen, I always try to keep it real with you guys. My philosophy is simple. Plan for the best, but expect the worst. I'm eternally optimistic. I genuinely believe we could see that explosive breakout at literally any moment, because I know in my heart it's coming. But some days, you've got to mentally prepare yourself for another red day. Here's the golden rule that has never failed me. Never sell on a dip, and never, ever sell into the blood. Today was another brutal, bloody day for XRP. I won't sugarcoat it. But here's the silver lining. Tomorrow will most likely bounce back with a beautiful green day. That's been the pattern we've been seeing lately. Of course, unless some crazy political news drops out of nowhere and sends XRP tumbling even lower. I'll be honest with you, there's definitely a chance XRP could touch that $2 level. I'm seeing a lot of smart people calling for that possibility. But you know what? I want to stay optimistic here. I'm really hoping we can climb back towards $2.50 and then push our way back above that crucial $3 mark. Until that happens, though, here's what I need from you. Stay patient, stay positive, and let's build this wealth together as a community. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up today's video. I genuinely want to thank each and every one of you for watching and being part of this incredible journey. Your support means the world to me. I'll catch you in the next one, and until then, have an absolutely amazing night.